Hello friends, today we are going to learn how to deploy a Microsoft Entra private network connector from Azure Marketplace. So as you can see, the Microsoft Entra private network connector is a solution template that enables users to seamlessly deploy a Windows virtual machine with pre-installed Entra private network connector through a simpler managed model. So this eliminates the need for manually listing and registering a connector, and that improves the ease of authentication during the setup process. So let's get started. For registering this connector, we will need two pieces of information. One, we need a tenant ID from the Entra, and the second, we need a authentication token. So let's get started. So as you can see, there is a link to get token documentation. So if you click on this, this will help you get the token from Entra through a PowerShell script. So you can copy this script as such and basically paste it into a Windows PowerShell ISE, which is running in the administrator mode. So I have pasted this here. So now we will hit run. As you can see, it is downloading some binaries, some libraries that will help us get the token. So while we are waiting for the token, let's get started on the deployment. So here, if you hit click get it now, it will take you to Azure portal. You log into your Azure portal and you land up on this screen. Here you hit create. So this pop-up, as you can see, is coming from the PowerShell module that we just hit to get the token. So you can select your username. This is your Entra username, and the token is already achieved. So this uninstall module is to clean up your system after receiving the token. So if your Entra is MFA enabled, in that case, I mean, it will prompt you for the username, password, and some sort of MFA authentication. So now, as you can see, it says like the access token that you acquired is available in C token.txt file. So we will go to C token.txt. And as you can see, the token is available here. So we will copy this token and make sure like we don't introduce any spaces. We'll go back to the Azure portal. Here we will create a new resource group first. So let's call it my demo resource group 1. We'll choose best US2. Now you can choose the authentication type. We will authenticate using access token that we just received. We will copy it here. The other piece of information it asks is the Entra tenant ID. So for the Entra tenant ID, you can go to your Entra portal. Under identity, you can hit overview and you can see like the tenant ID here. Copy it and paste it here. So virtual machine name, it is the virtual machine on which your connector will be deployed. So I will say my connector VM1. So network interface, again, I can call it NIC, username, and choose your password. Now you can choose your DNS name, whatever you like. So public IP, then you can select your server image. I will leave it as standard, security type, trusted launch. And here you can select like any existing VNet or you can create a new one. So for this demo, I'm gonna get a new one. Hit next, and let it run through the validation. So as you can see, the validation succeeds, and then you can hit create. The deployment is in progress. Take 2 minutes. So as you can see, like a new virtual network is created, a subnet is created, public IP is created, the machine is in the process of being created, and wait for Azure to tell you that the deployment is complete. Copy the name of this machine for reference. In the Entra portal, now you can go to, once that is complete, you can go to Global Secure Access and under that connect and under that connectors. The development is still under progress. So once this deployment is complete, so it should create a Windows VM, and on top of it, it should download a connector and then register it to your Entra portal. If we click on the machine name, so we can notice the public IP, which is 20.190.59. And under connectors, if you go under default, so our machine should start showing up here once the deployment is complete. Let's give it a few more seconds. As you can see, our connector machine starts showing up here, but it is in inactive state. Give it a second. The deployment succeeded. 2190.59.88, 2190.59.88. Let's refresh it. So as you can see, this connector starts showing up here, my connector VM1 2190.59.88. So later on, you can move it into any connector group. So this way, I mean, you don't have to log on to that machine to install a connector or configure it. So right from the Azure Marketplace, everything is done in a very simplified manner. So you can also later on, if you want to log on to this machine, let me just create it. Go to the C drive. So you can see this temp folder. Under temp folder, you can see this connector binary. And you can also see this output file, which is super clean, and it tells you the end time and start time. It's using the token for registration, so there are no errors. Seems like everything went through fine. In case something fails, you can look at it here. Similarly, there is a README file which tells you like what we are going to attempt to register while, and it also gives you a date and time so that you can keep a record. So this concludes my demo. Thank you so much.